Well, hello once again. This time, in this particular blog, we're going to be taking you to a few places, but this time it will only be in the Western Hemisphere. The last month and a half really has been devoted to travel within specifically the Latin American portion of the Western Hemisphere. So we're going to take you to Mexico and also to Argentina, where we traveled for a couple of important meetings that they had there involving a number of different countries from those particular areas. So also we're here in Illinois, so I want to show you a few things that took place here. A number of interesting things, one of which was an exhibit in Chicago with the thought forms of Annie Besant. There was an exhibit that had previously been done in Istanbul, Turkey, featuring the thought forms and really emphasizing the role that they play in contemporary and in modern art. So another exhibit was mounted in Chicago using reprints from the originals. Quite a nice presentation, so get a chance to show you a little bit of that. Also traveled to Mexico for the first North American meeting of the Inter-American Theosophical Federation. Very good meeting, about 75 people gathered for that over a period of about 4 or 5 days. So some scenes from there and some scenes from the little city of Cholula, where the meeting was held, right in the shadows of the famous volcano Popocatépetl, which is something that you see no matter where you are in the city. Also, because it was during Holy Week, the Easter week, in Mexico, it's a particularly high religious time, so there were festivals of all different sorts going on. So you get a glimpse into a couple of those. Also had a chance to share some time in Argentina for the third annual Luso-Hispanic meeting, seminar. The first two took place in Brasilia, and now they're going to be trading off from one area to the next. 1 year it will be at the Teosófica Center in San Rafael, Argentina. And then the next year it will be back in Brazil at the Instituto just outside of Brasilia. Luso-Hispanic is Portuguese and Hispanic languages. So all of those countries had a chance to join together. Get to see some of your fellow members from Chile, Argentina, Brazil, Costa Rica, many places at these meetings. So just want to share these with you. Good high time that we had together in a couple of very special places. So without any further ado, I hope you do enjoy. The close of the month of February and the beginning of the month of March are always a fascinating time in the Midwest. The weather is so changeable. You don't know some days whether it's winter or whether it's spring. But where there was once snow, flowers begin to show their presence. Easter comes, and my wife always loves to decorate the place for Easter. And then even up above, walking home from my office one day, flocks of cranes were filling the air, high up in the sky on their way northward from wherever it is that they spend their winter. So it's a time of new life, and it's a time when the campus here really starts to become quite beautiful with the signs of life coming from the ground and the flowers that inevitably make it back. Our board of directors had a chance to meet in February, and then also the board of directors for the Theosophical Order of Service. St. Patrick's Day, celebrated in Chicago by dyeing the river green. We celebrated here with some green foods. People dress up in green, and we have a meal together with staff and with volunteers. Also during this last month, there was an exhibit that was coming to a close at the Stony Islands Art Bank. It was on Annie Besant's thought forms. It's a wonderful addition to the Chicago city's museum scene. The Stony Island Art Bank was founded by a fellow by the name of Theaster Gates here on the left, and the show was curated by Carolyn Christoph Bakargiev, who heads up 2 contemporary art museums in Turin, Italy, and recently did the Istanbul Biennial. we had a presentation on the Perkins Pond and the life of the Perkins Pond by the kids from the Prairie School. A year ago, this photo was taken of the kids when they did their first presentation about the health of the pond. This year they came back with significant findings about what was the cause. The major cause they found in the polluting of the pond was geese. So we're in the process of now doing remediation with their help. Then it was on to Cholula, Mexico for a meeting of the Inter-American Theosophical Federation. Met at the airport by Isis Resende, Rodrigo, her husband, and Lisette Arroyo. After registration and getting a little bit settled in, it was back to Cholula where we had met in 2012. One of the overarching features of Cholula is the Popocatépetl Volcano. Everywhere you are in town, it looms over the entire city, the entire area. It is an active volcano, and so every day there are plumes of steam coming up out of it. But it's a beautiful, beautiful, powerful presence there in that area. Another presence that is a part of the city of Cholula is the churches. They say that there's one church for every day, but actually there are only about 159 churches in this city. Some of the most beautiful churches you could imagine, with Talavera tile, which is a specialty of that area. A lot of the churches, too, incorporate features of the saints and the angels that actually are the native people of the area. So you see many, many brown-skinned deities, which is unusual anywhere in the world. The churches are ornate in ways that people from the Midwest are quite unaccustomed to. The meetings were held there at the hotel, and it was a wonderful gathering of people. All in all, there were about 75 people who were there. Lisette Arroyo was the mistress of ceremonies. Maria Mengelt helped to do the organization. Here you see a group that came from Puerto Rico. About 7 or 8 countries were represented. This is 3 generations of a family, this being the 3rd. Many, many old friends, Doris Baumberger and Christina Zubelli. Ricardo came from the United States. This lady had a very interesting story about her great-grandparents, local Indian people who had met with Blavatsky in her travels to Sonora, Mexico. Every day there was meditation in the morning, and I had excellent professional translation with simultaneous translation, Guillermo and Kathy. Here's some of the money that was raised for the Adyar Restoration Project. And not to think it was all work, there was an evening of fun, Tertulia, with fantastic presentations by local artists in dance and music. Just the dance would have been good enough, but then Los Trovadores de Puebla took the stage and everybody got up to dance. While there, we took a bus tour of the city, and because it was Holy Week, everywhere you looked there was purple and white and yellow and purple. All the churches, every church at different times of the day were setting off fireworks, so you really had sound effects everywhere you went. And everywhere you went, the streets were being cleaned and covered in flowers and confetti in preparation for the holy processions that would be coming through the streets of the town. This one we encountered just while walking on our way to the market. All in all, it was a wonderful time spent with friends from South, Central, and North America, and the Caribbean. From Mexico, we kept heading south, way south, to Buenos Aires, Argentina, where we went our first day. We stopped at the lodge, which actually houses 5 different groups. It's a beautiful old building down in the central part of the city. Beautiful quarters on 3 different floors, and just had a chance for an impromptu meeting with just some of the members who had gathered there that evening. It's a beautiful resource for the members who are there, and it's quite well used. The next day it was on to San Rafael for the Centro Teosófica there. Very interesting. Right along the coast, the Rio de la Plata flows with brown water as it meets the sea, carrying the water all the way from the waterfalls in Uruguay. So we arrived, and it was the usual process of meeting. We had an interview with the local television station there that aired that evening, prior to a talk that was being given at the university that evening. So it was a talk that was attended by many people from the public. My translator throughout was our good friend now, Willie. Just a diagram of the center itself. It was built originally, it tended to be 5 buildings. There are 4 of them in a 5-pointed star pattern. There's a labyrinth. They put in a swimming pool. When they got this property, there were a total of 3 trees on the entire place in 1980. Now there are thousands, which have all been planted. The event was the 3rd annual Luso-Hispanic, Portuguese and Hispanic Conference, quite well attended. Ernesto and Maria Rosa Martinez are really a force down there at the center and do everything possible. And their son, Willie, was my translator throughout my time there in San Rafael. While we were there, a gentleman who was previous association with Theosophy, who had gone on to form his own yoga group, came by just to pay his respects. He brought all of his disciples with him. Generally, what would happen during the course of the day, there would be talks, and then it would break up into discussion groups to discuss the points. And then during the afternoon, there would also be seminars that would be given by 3 different speakers. Here are some of the folks who came from Chile. A number of countries were represented. Here you see some Brazilians, and of course this mix of Argentina and other folks in a love embrace. So it was something that was always, wherever there's theosophical gatherings, the food, and here it was of excellent quality, and it was a source of a lot of conversation and good time in the dining hall. It wouldn't have been complete if there was not an evening of music of highest caliber with Eduardo Gramaglia, who is a concert pianist for the Cordoba Philharmonic Orchestra. Rock guitar and wonderful vocals closed out the evening. Finally, on the next day, we had some touring, and then we also visited the Theosophical Society, the actual lodge right in town, separate place. Beautiful group of people. Look forward to our next time there with the folks. It is always inspiring to me when I meet with members around the world in small places and in big cities who have found such a value in this ageless wisdom and the ways in which they have tried to build centers and institutions and groups through which they can share it with others.